Ladies and gentlemen, students and scholars, teachers and trainers, professors and professionals, those who are listening, watching from the field of science, arts, commerce, and engineering, the most honorable President Prime Minister Modi ji, respected ministers and doctors, honorable advocates, advertisers, administrators, and advisors, Reverend fathers and mothers, I, Dr. Rakesh from USA, heartily, cordially welcome all of you. Dear friends, it is really nice time, nice place, nice section as we are appreciating nature. Today, it is very necessary to know about the nature. We believe in the different religions, customs, traditions, conventions, rituals in our nation, but the strongest fact that provides its strengthening, that is nature. Nature is always common concept between different type of religions, caste, color, creed and language, varieties, variations, adversities that we examine, observe around us, that is the result of super spiritual power of God, who has created this world in the form of multicultural and multicolored. Fact of our nation, constitutionally, our India is the ideal picture, ideal example of the strongest democracy in the world. No doubt, India is the largest democratic nation of the world, where there was the America was starter of the democracy. Behind all these principles and doctrines of the Constitution, these are the instructions, directions that Indian Constitution provides us to be healthy and independent. How we can be independent? How we can contribute in making India? And how we can fulfill the dream of our President Prime Minister Modi ji? Behind it, we have to think about the nature. Today we see, observe around us, the universe is facing different type of natural calamities, disasters. Why there are so imbalances in the nature? It is the result of man's interference with nature. Nature should be respected and it should be welcomed, thanked by every citizen of our nation. At the world level, man is interfering in nature through wars. No doubt, internationally, India has address, advocate, guide, advise its spiritual values. Our nation is known by its moral, educational, and spiritual values. No doubt, these are the parts of emotionality, and we can say that is also the part of software in the language of computer. But until and unless we will not understand it, we will not change our lifestyle, we cannot achieve, attain, obtain the ultimate goal of life. Everyone should think what is his or her ultimate objective, ambition of his life. Must try to meditate on this point. To attain the ultimate objective of life, man should spend his time with the nature. Early in the morning, when do we get up? We should bless the nature and we are to be blessed by the nature. It is very necessary to be common, simple, and general in our daily routine. How do we spend our 24 hours? Today's 24 hours shows the whole lifestyle of our future. So we should live in present to be natural. It is very necessary. No doubt, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who wrote Discovery of India, he wrote in his ideology that present lies in the past. If we are not happy in present, we must concentrate, defocus, disattach to the past. So, it is in the nature that can give us everlasting soothing effect of our mind and heart. To make our nation better, nicer, finer, greater than before. For the betterment, upliftment, personally, professionally, publicly, emotionally, externally, then we must be in present to correlate with the nature, then nature will be friendly and familiar with us, and it is rightly said in our holy scriptures of the Holy Land. In all holy scriptures of this Holy Land, it is addressed by the starters, beginners, and initiators. Nature plays multi-dimensional roles, multifaceted and multi-dimensional roles in our life. Nature nurtures us like a mother. Nature treats us like a doctor. Nature supervises us like a supervisor. It instructs us like an instructor. It directs us like a director. So we must be common, simple, and general while interacting with nature, as it is written in our own holy scriptures of the Holy Land that our body is made by five elements: air, fire, soil, sky, and water. And we feel the presence of Lord or God in these five elements. Even where there is not the availability of these five elements, there is also the presence of Lord or God. As per the notion of Swami Vivekananda, who addressed to the worldly people in the USA in 1893, my brothers and sisters of the America, thereby our nation is known. He advocated, addressed to the worldly people by saying that my nation is known by character, culture, not by colors. My country, my nation is known by its character, not by pictures. Today, in this digitalized world, everyone is downloading, recording, saving, observing, examining, imitating, and learning. It is easy to learn today, but the thing that is easy to learn, easy to live, we must remember it. We are to be imaginative. Imagination is the best educational technology that can help our youngsters to strengthen our nation. So let us discuss our history of the nature. How nature brought revolutionary and visionary change in the world. Nature has the power to bring change in the nature of mind, in the nature of heart, in the nature of our body. It is possible. History provides fundamentals and basics to make us modern. Who has not heard about William Wordsworth, who born in 1770? It is known as the 18th century period in English literature. When we think about this age is known as Romantic age. William Wordsworth, the highest priest of nature, was born in the Lake district of England, where he grew up amidst beautiful rustic surroundings and simple village folk. Away from the corruption of civilization. He had quite early imbibed faith in humanity and reverence for the elemental things of life. We see in the history what happened in 1789. There was French Revolution, and this French Revolution came because of the materialism, because of the materialistic world. When we run after materialism, collecting perishable mortal goods, luxurious goods, without knowing the wish of God, then definitely revolution come and it brought unwanted results to the humanity. We see in the history that later on, in the end of the 18th century, William Wordsworth and Astley Coleridge both they write lyrical ballads in 1798. This period was the period of suggestions, advices to love with nature. Nature never beat, cheat, defeat, deceive, and betray us. All worldly people around us that we see, they may leave us alone anytime, but nature never leaves us alone. It is written in our all holy scriptures of this holy land. Due to materialism, we do not understand our such sacrificial bodies, freedom fighters, free thinkers, philosophers, astrologers, astronomers, scientists, doctors, artists, those who were the creators, generators, and operators. Our forefathers, foretellers, they were not less than the innovators and inventors. So we should respect, thank, and welcome all the spiritual values of our nation. And it happens only in nature. Nature teaches us how to live in our healthy lifestyle. Nature nurtures, teaches, guides, fills us with multicolors of the true lifestyle. Our President, President Modi ji, and the different ministers of the different states started different programs to enhance the capabilities, manners, styles, and talents of our youngsters. Undoubtedly, these things help us. But nature nurtures us, makes us talented naturally. This is the great role of nature. If we spend our time with nature, then we learn the value of nature. As William Wordsworth has explained and addressed to her sister Dorothy Richardson, the chief characteristic of Wordsworth as a poet in his sharp departure from the conventional themes and forms of the neoclassical poetry of the 18th century. His objections to an overstylized poetic diction, his attitude to nature, his choice of simple incidents and humble people as subjects for his poetry characterize his unique achievement. He brought a completely new approach to the writing of poetry, which for Wordsworth is the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings, taking its origin from emotion recollected in its tranquility. With this view of poetry, he made the incidents of common life interesting. His theory of poetic diction draws on a selection from the real language of man in a state of vivid sensation. But it is not just physical pleasure that Wordsworth finds in nature. He believes that nature nourishes the emotional and spiritual life of man also. The call of high mountains, the sudden sight of daffodils by the lake, the sloping pastures, the deep and gloomy wood, all these uplift him from the mere plane of an ordinary world of physical delight to a higher plane where he receives nature's moral and physical masses, moral and mystical masses. Moreover, the village to him is a working model of the best democracy, whereas Goldsmith is concerned with an economic theory and the social features of village life. Wordsworth stresses its spiritual and ethical values. His poetry delineates his faith that man in constant and close communication with nature can lead a happy and peaceful life. These convictions are the background to the Lucy poem composed in the hard forest during Wordsworth's sojourn in Germany. This is one of the Lucy poems where the nurturing spirit of nature is the highlighted. The poem presents Wordsworth's basic philosophy that nature shapes and molds the character and personality of human beings. Hence, it is because this conviction of the poet that Palgrave, in his Golden Treasury, gives this poem the title of The Education of Nature. In this lyric, the story of Lucy is presented by nature itself. Nature declares her resolve to bring up Lucy and carry out her intention by showering upon her its bounties of beauty and grace. Nature promises to act both as impulse and as law to the rustic child, and thus educate her in her righteous ways and noble desires. Thus educated by nature, she would naturally learn to restrain herself from excess of thoughts and conduct. All natural objects, such as rock, plains, earth, heaven, glades, bowers, would exercise a very healthy influence on Lucy's physical and moral growth. She would learn the happiness of a supportive fawn, the stateliness of the floating clouds, humility of the bending willow, grace of motions of the storm, the beauty of the stars of midnight, and the sweetness of the murmuring sound of flowing rivulets. This is how all the objects and forces of nature would contribute to the physical and moral development of Lucy. Nature thus accomplished her self appointed task. Thank you, dear brothers and sisters. Today, those who are listening, watching from the field of different arts, science, commerce, and engineering, it is really nice time, nice place. I thank again all of you. Nice to see all of you. Thank you very much.